Hey everyone, it's Dan and Don coming to you from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, that website address is www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I interviewed our guest by myself once. It was a very short interview. Normally our interviews are about 30 minutes. We did about a 10-minute interview. It was very good. It was unscheduled, so it was just kind of quick. Wanted to get his story out there. Sargis is a man I definitely respect because of what he did, and he's gonna kind of explain his story, but it involves searching for clinical trials, getting frustrated, and then not accepting what is available, but creating his own using his technical expertise. He is a PhD, so he actually ended up building a search engine to help himself and others find clinical trials more efficiently. So welcome, Sargis. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much.
And tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What interests you? And then we'll kind of start talking about this search engine a little bit.
Sure. I'm a research programmer at the Scripps Research Institute. It's like one of the largest biomedical nonprofit institutions. We do there different like medicine, biology studies, science, and I'm working on the Art Olson lab, which is doing computational chemistry, drug design, computational drug design, and things in that nature.
I'm telling you, Dov, Sargis is extremely intelligent. So you're involved in the space. You definitely have a lot of technical expertise. Tell us about your personal story. You were one day you decided you wanted to do a clinical trial.
Basically, I was reading some papers. They always mention like if you study obesity drug, how like clinical trials are, or how drugs are failing, all this stuff. So when you read the articles, they frequently refer to the clinicaltrials.gov with the ID and some information you can find. And the site clinicaltrials.gov, it's very excellent site, and it's provided free for public. So as you probably know, all the clinical trials must submit their data in that database. So I checked that site frequently, and I tried to see like if I can find some obesity related or smoking cessation related clinical trials around San Diego area, for instance. And when I went there to their website, they have advanced search options. You can search by the trial phase, keywords, state, and country, but to get the local search results, there was no option, and there was no other option on the web as well. So I decided to make one since I had the skill to build it, and it was a fun project to do.
We're going to talk about the specifics of your engine, the benefits of using it. You said you were reading articles about clinical trials and you decided it's worth your try to actually enroll in one for smoking cessation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then naturally, did you do a Google search clinical trials and you ended up on clinicaltrials.gov?
Oh, no, actually, I knew the clinicaltrials.gov from my research.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to see if there is anything built on top of clinicaltrials.gov data that would let me search for.
I see. And just so our audience understands, we know clinicaltrials.gov is it's a decent service, but what are some of the disadvantages of using clinicaltrials.gov? What are some features that can be improved, do you think?
I think it's written by sponsors, and the language is like very hard to understand. So for example, I was watching also like NIH videocasts about they also mention clinical trials. So I try to blog and like explain it in a plain language what the different clinical trials are and such. But Yeah, it's the advantage of clinicaltrials.gov. It's like it's government-sponsored program and it's mandated by Congress. I think all the clinical trials need to have their data publicly available. The disadvantage is like it's a government and it's not commercialized. There are no feature updates. I think the last time their website is like looking very like 2000-ish. So
Mm-hmm.
it's there are no features like they have RSS feeds, but it's not like for example to build an app on top of that. It's not that easy, but it's possible. I've seen some other websites doing that.
Uh-huh. And so it's not the most user-friendly site. And your experience was you typed smoking cessation and you put San Diego, and you were given
Mhm.
results that were not in San Diego, right?
Oh, right. I think you can search for smoking cessation, and it will bring the all smoking cessation around the world. So it would be hard to filter by location, like see what are smoke. You can search advanced by state. California, for example, you can limit by California, but again, like it's not user friendly, and you have no idea where they are exactly.
Mm-hmm. Um, Now, obviously, that your difficulty in, or I guess lack of efficiency in this search engine, inspired you to build your product. And tell us a little bit about your product. What is it called? What are the benefits? How many people have used it? Have you got any feedback? Things like that.
Yeah, sure. So I built that on top of Google App Engine. It's like one of the advantages of that was that you can start for free. You can experiment, so there is no money to invest. So I built it on App Engine, and I think they had also like like Google search, map search. They provide some basic API and other stuff to do it. So I just played with it, and the hardest part was getting the data from the clinicaltrials.gov into the Google App Engine and making it searchable by location. And I started like that project in like late 2010, and I was searching like I found other websites that like TrialX, or I think
Uh
the
huh.
Salesforce had also like they had the screencast where they also had a similar product, but I think maybe it's for business to business. So it's one of the advantage of this is that it's more intended to be more patient friendly for people who are looking for the trial, not for sponsors or for physicians. It's mostly for like patients who need to find clinical trials. And I blogged, for example, recently I blogged about the cancer pain management, for example, and there was a nice video cast from NIH mentioning the clinical trial. So it provided nice background information about what the trial is. So like if you go to the clinicaltrials.gov and find that clinical trial, you have no idea what that clinical trial is about. So you like having a embedding webcasts and speaking in plain language so that patients can
All right.
understand what they are going to.
Now, how long did it take you? How many man hours do you think that you put into this whole project since you started?
I think if I do it, like I was working on the weekends, so if I do it, I think somebody can do it, build it in like a month or two.
Okay.
Oh, but you need to have like the knowledge, so you need to have skills like learn about the op engine and stuff. So it's if you are very passionate, you can do build it quickly. But yeah,
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned something very important that seems like you share our mission, which is clinical trials in plain English. Um, Obviously, when you go to clinicaltrials.gov, and it may not be obvious because people don't just go there all the time. They go there when they need to. Um, So you mentioned that it's very difficult to understand what a study is when you pull it up
Yeah.
on clinicaltrials.gov. So how does your engine differentiate itself? How does it make it easier to understand what study it is that you're getting involved with?
Yeah, I'm planning like in the future, for example, to include some data from Medline Plus. They have an API, for example, if there is a condition, drug and stuff, it can bring some information, but it's some future work. For now, I'm just like when I see watch interesting screencast and it has reference to a clinical trial, I would post that screencast on the web and write a little bit about this about that.
Fantastic. So he's solving a real problem, which is, okay, someone understands what a clinical trial is, they want to do it. Now you run into another hurdle of, well, now I can't find one. And if you can solve this problem, you're going to not only do very well for others, but very well for yourself. Is that the goal? Do you eventually want to commercialize this, or do you? I know right now it's very new, and you're probably not making much money from it, if I'm not mistaken. But what is the future, I guess, commercialization plan for this engine?
For now, it's like only AdSense. Like it brings only $10 a month. It's not worth even for development.
Right.
So I was like, after our last screencast, I was thinking to implement this feature that you will enter your address and the trial you are interested in, and it will email you. But it's like it's hard to know how many people would be interested and the competition. I've seen, like there is a company in the East Coast. They have similar. They will mail you. They don't have the location-based information, but if you like subscribe to them, they will mail you about the new clinical trials. And yeah, it's right now it's a research. I'm researching. If I come up with some idea, I think it's worth implementing, commercializing, then I will invest more time on it.
Yeah, and if we would love to partner with you at some point, if you decide to go ahead with that, we'll talk off the camera.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential, and myself and Don's going to share with you now, but we've called several because we wanted to eventually make a mobile application where users can find a study, and they'll either get a text message alert or an email or whatever they choose to receive, and it will be more efficient. Currently, there's a few apps. I have them on my phone without mentioning names because we might get in trouble. But let me just find which one I used. For those of you, I'm on my iPhone. I have a clinical trial folder for apps. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 good ones. I shouldn't say good. Good is a relative term. I will say 4 functional apps. Good is up for debate. I think what Sargis has is good, even though it's not complete. But this first app that I clicked on, that shall remain nameless, Don and I this one actually is not a good example because it's an app, and what they do is you find a study on the app on your phone, and it's a very well-known organization that's behind this. You search for a trial, you find one, and then it gives you a phone number to call. So that defeats the purpose of having an app. I can go on the website and call the phone number if I wanted to. What's the purpose of having this downloaded on my app? So it says, okay, you found this trial. There's some trials here. Call this number to get more information. Don and I called. We were pretending to be patients looking for a study. What did they tell us, Don? Do you remember the?
I don't remember the details.
The lady was talking to us. She was first of all very surprised that we called.
Yeah.
And she said, "Where did you get our number from?" I said, "I'm from your app." And she said, "What is that?" Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And so they obviously don't know what they're doing, or they're not implementing it very well.
I do remember that she was not competent enough to be handling what she should have been doing as far as getting someone set up, explaining their purpose, fishing for the call. She should at least have some sort of script in front of her on how to follow up on a call and find out exactly what we were interested in.
Now you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time.
It was a long time ago.
It's been such a long time. It's the hard thing too is just like even with that, everybody is they're more interested in getting the recruitment business than they are servicing the business. I mean, you got to service it first now. You got to provide some kind of service that people can actually feel comfortable enough that, okay, this looks good, let me check it out a little further. But what they're trying to do is route you immediately to someone so they can put you in the study and get paid.
Yeah, and so it first of all defeats the purpose of convenience, which is what an app is for.
Exactly.
To not have to talk to someone. But if I want to do a study for bipolar disorder, I should receive a text or an email from the app based on what I want, when I want it, or when it's available. I shouldn't have to call someone. And then that person, if I do have to call someone, that person better be able to help me.
Right.
Otherwise, you really don't have a purpose even having someone answer the phone.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah, it would have been better to have an answering machine service directing us what to do. So there's a lot of opportunity. My point is, there's a lot of opportunity in this space for search.
Yeah.
We at the Clinical Trial Guru want to get involved in this space at some point. And so once we develop some other revenue streams, we will be willing to invest in something like this and commercialize it. So definitely, Sargis, we will be in very close contact.
Thank you very much.
And so now, what is your search engine? Tell everyone how to go find it. And
So if you Google for Clinical Trials Finder or go to CLISMAP at opspot.com, it will bring up the website, but it's easier just to go Clinical Trial Maps or Clinical Trial Finder. I think it will be on the first 10 list.
Okay. Excellent. And have you got any feedback from users, or is that
Yeah, actually, met this nice gentleman, Stuart Duncan, in Google Plus. He's an autism advocate, and we had a chat with him, and he embedded the map I built on the site on his website. So he blogs about autism. And I was thinking that one would be one of the ways to go. Like if you embed that map in patients advocacy group, for example, if you are autism advocacy group, it's a nice way to get this information on your website, or you are some other advocacy group, or you are blogging or doing other stuff. So just it's easy to embed. You go type the keywords or some information, and it gives you a code you can copy paste in your site, and it will embed the map there.
Excellent. And Don pulled it up on his phone. For those of you, it would be
bring
hard
it up
to see.
to the camera. Can we? I guess we can't really get a good view at it on the camera. Too much
will
light.
focus.
Yeah.
But it's there, CLISMAP.
Yep.
So fantastic product, and built by one man, as you can see.
Yep.
We have a couple of people working on our website right now, so I'm gonna ask them to embed this in ours. So it's very easy for her to do. I just tell her go to CLISMAP and embed that into our engine there.
Yeah, it's basically if you wanna, for example, specific condition, you will enter the name of the condition, and it will give you a code that you can copy paste in there.
I'm going to tell her to do that because I'm not technical, but we have a young lady working on our site now, and she can do that probably very fast. So we will do that, and we would like to eventually work with you later on down the road if you'd be willing to do so, to maybe develop this a little bit further. But for now, it's free. Everyone use it, and we will see what we can do, because there's a lot of potential here. Still providing a free service to the trial participants, but the people who will be paying for the service are the pharma companies who want to recruit for their trials. So there's for the patients, it's still going to be free. It's just when these type of things are usually commercialized, that's the route they go. And then if we do the mobile app, it will be even more efficient, and it's a space that is not being it's not being implemented correctly from what I see so far. Sargis, tell us a little bit about your project that you were involved with, your side project with the algorithm.
My main day job or the
Well, we can talk about your main day job, but then are you still involved in that one particular contest?
Oh yeah, that one, that one is interesting. Yeah, that's a $3 million Heritage Health Prize. It's a very enticing. I think I've been there from the beginning, and there are like folks from Netflix Prize. I'm not sure if the viewers are familiar with it, but basically Netflix gave $1 million prize for people who can find a good movie recommendation, and the same company who organized that prize is doing now that Heritage Health Prize. So this is like a good money, like $3 million if you can basically predict how many days patients will be in the hospitals based on the prior data. So I've been playing with the data and participating in the forums. And soon, I think in a couple of months, they will have this first round prize winner. So it's $20,000 and $30,000 for the first round prize winners. And I think in a year or so, it will be 40 and 60,000. Then I think in 2013, they will announce the final winners, which will be either 500K or 3 million, depending if they are able to beat the barrier. They have set up some score. If they are able to go below that and have a better prediction. So for now, I'm just seeing how it's like. This is my first example, and I see like many who are from like computer science department, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see what they are using and see what kind of algorithms they will come up with.
Yeah, this is
amazing.
I actually knew about it. I talked with the Sargis before, but Don never heard. That's why I was insinuating he should partner up with you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to.
Perks your attention here.
Yes, Sargis could tell you more about it off the air, but basically they're searching for an algorithm. The insurance companies would like brilliant people like Sargis to help them create an algorithm that can predict who is more likely to be hospitalized in the future based on past data,
you were telling me a little about.
Yeah, I was telling you about this. Yeah. So Sargis you're involved, right? Are you involved in this contest?
Yeah. I think right now, I think the winners are the ones who like have no background in healthcare. They are basically computer science, like just working with the data. I think, but to be able to really like get an edge, you need some background in healthcare. Like for example, if you have some ideas you want to try, I'll be happy to implement to see how it goes.
So this is basically a risk management program then that you're developing.
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting because you're really going to have to. I just at the top of my mind because you're talking about so many people and so many different scenarios that can take place.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to bow out of this offer because I would be wasting a spot. So I don't want to waste any seats on your team. But Don used to manage a nursing home, so.
Yeah, but you're talking about everything from every potential illness, every potential accident, the works. That's a lot of piling up of data.
Mm-hmm.
and coming and try not to miss any scenarios that could actually possibly come about, and then you got to sit down and figure out how often these scenarios happen within our community.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's quite a challenge.
Definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Sargis, as we conclude, tell us a little bit about your day job and how those skills that you utilize there will help you in this search engine.
In my day job, I'm like research programmer. We code like I'm working on a project called Python Molecular Viewer. So it's a desktop app that lets you visualize molecules and come up with the pretty pictures. And we have another project called Autodoc in the lab, That's one of the main projects, and it lets you search for compounds that might bind to a protein and come up with a potential drug candidate. So it's a very exciting research project.
You're busy.
Yeah.
Busy man. I interact with you on Google Plus. I'm new to Google Plus, so I like it better than Twitter. It just all my people I interact with are on Twitter, but Sargis is one of the only exclusive ones I interact with on Google Plus. So we have a special relationship already.
Okay, good.
But it's a very good place for those of you who are looking for more from your social network. I like Google Plus a lot. Just a side note, and I'm not a Google investor. Sargis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Same here.
Everyone Google CLISMAP, that's CLISMAP. You'll find Sargis' search engine, and we're going to embed it on our site. And hopefully in the future we partner with Sargis and develop a mobile application for your smartphones. But until then, use CLISMAP, and yeah, hopefully let us know what you guys think about it if you do try to use it. Thank you, Sargis.
Thank you.
And it's Dan and Don signing off from the clinicaltrialsguru.com. Thanks a lot.